Let's talk supply chain. Hey everyone, welcome to Let's Talk Supply Chain. My name is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey and we are here on site at IANA Expo with RapidLink Repair. Now before we get into who I'm interviewing today, which it is Rob, and we'll get to you in just a second, but we have a question to ask you. So the market for container chassis in the US is growing. So what was it valued in 2024? Well, let me know your guesses over on social. Keep listening. We are going to let you know the answer at the end of the show. So welcome, Rob. How are you?
Thank you. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So excited. And I can't wait to hear more about RapidLink. We've done a lot of business with DCLI and we've done a lot of great content with DCLI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I can't wait to hear all about this. So for anybody who doesn't know you, why don't you tell them who you are, what you do, what's your role at RapidLink Repair?
Sure. So Rob Finch, Vice President of Domestic Sales for RapidLink and DCLI. Started my career on the railroad side of the industry, worked for CSX Transportation for 15 years, kind of half my time in commercial sales and marketing and half my time in operations. So most of my career was figuring out how to bring commercial and operations together, and joined DCLI 5 years ago as a VP of domestic sales for all the 53-foot commercial activity. And then in the past 3 years, took over responsibility for all of our roadside repairs. So turned it into RapidLink Repairs, which is a great organization, and look forward to sharing more today.
Yeah, and that's a big job. Right? Everyone wants safety on the road. We want safety for our drivers. We want safety for everybody else on the road as well. And I love that that's something that you are focusing on. So why don't you give us an overview of RapidLink Repair? Who are you? What do you do? How do you help your customers?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we're a 24/7 nationwide mechanical capacity resource for the industry. You know, we're really, we provide service both on the road, but also scheduled maintenance if someone needs maintenance on equipment. And it's really about three things. We want to improve driver productivity or downtime, make sure we're minimizing the amount of time that folks are down. Number two is around making sure we provide a cost-efficient solution. You know, with the labor challenges, mechanical capacity, this space can get expensive, so we're trying to provide the most cost-effective solution for folks. And then third is really making sure we drive high levels of customer satisfaction. So those are the three components that we're really most focused on.
All three important to competitive advantage, to the industry. Everybody's thinking about price. I think we're going to be talking about that just a little bit later.
Sure.
And so really, really relevant and top of mind for everybody right now. And I know we're just getting started at IANA here. Did you have any conversations with anybody so far? Like, what's kind of top of mind for people?
Yeah, I think top of mind is really how to reduce cost profile. The market has been less than ideal, I would say, in terms of volume and demand that's out there. So everyone's really trying to figure out, how do I lower my cost profile as best as possible? And so as someone newer entrant into this space, we think we have opportunity to do that for folks. So it's pretty exciting from our vantage point to be helping trying to find more cost-effective solutions in the repair space.
Awesome. Well, before we get to that, we do need to get to the origin story of RapidLink Repair, because it's very interesting. I mentioned DCLI just a little bit earlier. So talk to us about that. What does that look like? How did you come to be?
Yeah, so I'll back up all the way to the beginning. So, you know, DCLI was originally founded as a spin-off of different chassis from ocean carriers. Specifically, Maersk was the first one. And then over time, Bill Shea, our original founder, helped continue to grow the franchise by acquiring more and more chassis from different ocean carriers. And so we grew to a point of being, today we own 300,000 chassis, both domestic and marine. And so over that period of time, we also had to create a road service product to be able to maintain those chassis. And so we brought all that in-house and did it ourselves. To be honest with you, originally we really kind of weren't that good at it. And it was in our operating group, and it was a cost profile, a cost center. And we then changed it and brought it in the commercial side of the business because we saw it as a touch point with customers. And we wanted to turn it into a positive interaction. And so over time, we built this road service group or mechanical arm that is really good and has great customer satisfaction. And so what happened was we had a lot of customers coming to us saying, hey, I know you guys fix your own chassis, well, would you provide services on our equipment,
Right.
our trailers, our chassis, our containers?
Can you do it for us?
Right.
You do it well for yourself.
And so at first we were like, no, that's not really something we do. But enough people had come to us over time where we're like, all right, there's obviously a need in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so that's how RapidLink was born. It's kind of a spin-off or a subsidiary of DCLI. So it's been great.
Nice.
It's been a
And
great
that's
journey.
where all great ideas start, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been, you always want to have a product and solution that people are asking for versus
Yeah.
the inverse, right?
Before you
So,
even have it.
Yeah. So
Right?
it's been a lot of fun.
I love
for
that.
sure.
And I love the name and how you've come up with that and what that looks like. So what exactly are the services that you offer? Let's break it down so everybody can understand what it is that they can come to you and you can help them with.
Yeah, so we have a kind of a position or slogan, anytime, anywhere. So we have a nationwide footprint.
Now I want secrets. I
that's
want
right.
all of the secrets about how you can do it anytime, anywhere, but we won't do that today.
That's right.
All right.
And so if you break apart our product, both services on the road, so if someone has a breakdown on the road versus a scheduled service. So
Yeah, because they're so timely, right? When that happens on the road, we need to get those drivers back up and running. People are counting
Yep.
on them.
That's right. So we call it driver occupied event, and
Okay.
that gets the utmost attention in terms of service and timeliness and things like that. Now it's interesting, about 90% of our calls today actually are more scheduled events, and 10% are actually driver occupied. The primary reason is folks want to try and make sure the driver isn't impacted.
Right.
So if there's something that can be done at a yard while the driver's not on duty.
Proactive
Right.
rather than reactive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can schedule it at a time that's better and maybe more cost effective. Instead of doing something on the nights or on the weekends, you can
Right.
schedule it during the day. So
Yeah.
we see that, but the primary repairs that we see most often are tires, brakes, and lights.
Okay.
That's what most mechanical repair folks need help with.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the easy ones. And then there's more advanced things, landing legs and other things that we can do as well, towing. So we do almost anything as it pertains to chassis, trailers, and containers. But tires, brakes, and lights tend to be the most common, frequent repairs that we touch.
Very cool. I want to see a white paper on that. So we're gonna have to talk to your team about that, because I'm pretty sure you've got some cool stats on like how many times you've repaired, a brake light versus tires versus on demand while the driver's en route versus being able to be proactive versus reactive. So maybe we can work on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have all sorts of Tableau dashboards and data around the repairs and how frequently they happen and on what components. It's you can definitely nerd out on it a bit,
I love
and it's
that.
great.
Well, we're all a little bit of nerds when it comes to logistics and
I'm with you.
maintenance, and
Absolutely.
we like to nerd out on that stuff. All right, so who is all of this for? Do you have an ideal client? Do you have somebody that would be ideal for this particular service?
Yeah, so kind of two primary components. The first is anyone that's looking for mechanical capacity, right?
Okay.
It seems to be, shrinking in availability, and so anyone that really has a need for mechanical capacity would be an ideal customer for us. The other key component of what we can offer is a nationwide solution. That's, if you research and do studies on mechanical capacity and repair, it's the number one thing folks want is a nationwide solution. I just want to be able to call one person and provide repair anywhere.
Yeah. Do
and
they
so-
have to have a certain number of assets for that to make sense, or?
Obviously, the larger fleets tend to utilize more aspects of the total nationwide, and
Right.
we can talk about it more when we get into pricing. But ultimately, we have the benefit of having kind of your 300,000 chassis anchor tenant. So we get to leverage some of the size and scale of our DCLI parent company to provide cost savings. So no, I mean, just because we have a nationwide footprint doesn't mean that we can't help someone that may have more of a regional focus.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about pricing a few different times, so let's get to it, because I think
Sure.
we need to talk about it. Everybody is looking at cost savings these days, what that looks like for them. So talk to us about what that pricing looks like. How can clients, in terms of budgeting, cost savings, what does that look like for them?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned the size and scale of DCLI. So they're our anchor tenant, if you will, that helps us bring what we believe is really favorable pricing to the market. people joke inside of our walls about, we're actually probably a tire company that happens to lease chassis and rent chassis just because the 8 tire positions.
I want to see the yard.
300,000 chassis.
Full of tires?
We have really good partners and vendors that help store all that stuff for us. But yeah, there's plenty of tires moving around. And so, for us, when we got into this business, for other people, we said, what are the things that people dislike? What are the things that with the current model? And the biggest thing was surprise fees, surprise charges. So what we've tried to do with our pricing is to make it consistent and reliable.
Yeah, nobody likes those surprise fees.
Yeah.
I come from logistics, and I used to have to bill for ocean freight and trucking and air freight.
Yeah.
And it ended up being all these fees, and people are like, why don't you just give me the price?
Yes, exactly. So our approach to the market has been to provide something that they can count on and rely on. So for example, when it comes to labor rates, our labor rate is a flat labor rate in an entire region, whereas other products or solutions, they may say, here's your labor rate in network in around Chicago, here's a different labor rate if you're outside of Chicago. And we've really tried to simplify it to say, if you are in this region, this is the same labor rate everywhere.
Nice.
Which we've gotten really kind of positive and warm response on. I think the other things around pricing that make us a little bit different, we talked about the size and scale of the customers that we support. That comes through by way of parts pricing. So we have some high volume parts benefits, and we don't mark up anything on parts. So whatever we pay for a part is what our customer will pay.
You're being too nice.
It's not really a space that we want to make margin on, and we think it can differentiate us in the market. So. And then
it definitely is a competitive advantage for you. I can see that.
And then the third, we talked about tires. We think we have really good nationwide tire partnerships that we should be able to offer kind of a better tire price than where the normal person could get it.
So I appreciate you talking about price, but one of the other things that you mentioned earlier on is customer satisfaction or customer experience. I mean, efficiency, customer experience, they're all top of mind as well for everybody, just as much as cost savings and price and all of that kind of stuff. So how do you turn that into a competitive advantage for your clients? I mean, I think the response times that you have are setting you apart, but also help set your clients apart. So talk to us about that. What does that mean? How do you do it? What does it look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're pretty maniacal about customer satisfaction. It may just be the commercial side of me, but ultimately, if your customers aren't happy, you don't really have a good product, I would contend. So everything we do, like there's a customer satisfaction survey link on all our communications, and all of our responses generally average around a 94% customer satisfaction rate. That's something we're really proud of and something we focus on. For those few that don't, we look at them every week and say, okay, what happened here? What do we need to do better? And so it's definitely something we're focused on. From a
94% is a great number.
We're very proud of it. And like I mentioned, 5 years ago it wasn't that, and so we're very happy that we've been able to turn that corner.
Awesome.
I think that from a KPI perspective, the key measures we look at for being responsive for customers, the first is phone call, right? So when someone calls, how long does it take to actually get a human? Like in some spaces, you can't even get a human.
Nobody's calculating that anymore.
So in our world, it's 7 seconds. We have all these reports.
7 seconds?
Yep. So we average 7 seconds to talk to a human, which is something we feel passionately about.
Amazing.
We want people to be able to connect and get to a live person. Being on hold for 60 seconds, 90 seconds feels like an eternity and is a bad customer experience.
Well, especially if it's on demand, right? If the driver's down and you've got something to deliver, the pressure starts mounting for everybody.
So 7 seconds on kind of pickup times. In terms of email response times, because we get inquiries and dispatch via email, average email response is about 15 minutes. And then the biggest metric we look at, and arguably the most important, is for driver-occupied events, is something we call call to roll time. So from the minute we get the call to when are they moving again. Like that is the ultimate nirvana. And so we average just under 3 hours right now call to roll time, which
anywhere, anytime.
That's right.
3 hours is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
All right.
we have a huge vendor network to be able to accomplish that. You have to have people close by to be able to do those things.
Yeah.
It'll vary on the repair type. Tire repairs will be faster. A tire repair is probably closer to 2.5 hours. Landing leg may be closer to 3.5, but on the average, just under 3 hours. So
amazing.
I
love that. Those are some really great numbers, and we're going to get into case studies in a minute, but I want to just point out that not only is that a competitive advantage for you, but it's also a competitive advantage for your clients, because when that truck goes down, they've got product on that truck, and people are expecting deliveries, and so it's like that domino effect.
Yep.
And so if you're able to bring down those response times to those numbers that you said, 7 seconds, 3 hours to back on the road, I mean, that's going to benefit everybody in your network.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're trying to help kind of do our part, if you will, in the larger, broader supply chain, and the just-in-time inventories and inventory management and all that stuff has gotten more complicated and complex over time, and the mechanical repair space needs to continue to improve and evolve with it. It's kind of our position. So
Okay. So let's get to a case study, because this is like my favorite part of the show.
Sure.
So talk to me about a client. What problem did they come to you with? What was the solution that you provided? What was the ROI and benefit that they saw?
Yeah, so early on, we had a partner, Market Express, come to us, and they were really struggling with their road service provider.
Okay.
And specifically, it had to do with communication. One of the biggest things folks want and need in this space is regular, consistent communication.
Well, they want to be able to rely on it.
Right.
They want to be able to trust it. I think trust is the big key factor here, right? They don't want to see your pricing all up and down, because they want to be able to rely on that, right? Rely on that being consistent. But then they also want to trust that you're going to be there when they need it the most.
Right. Yep. No, absolutely. So if you call a repair provider and then you don't hear anything for an hour and a half, are they coming? Where are they at?
Right.
Communication. Yes. And so, that was a pain point, and then the consistent pricing and kind of driver productivity were also pain points. So when we brought them over, they were very happy with anytime we engage a repair vendor, we let them know, here's the repair vendor we've engaged. Once they're en route, we tell them they're en route, here's the ETA, here's when we plan to get all this done. And so they were very happy with respect to the communication, and then the cost consistency that you hit on, right? We kind of were able to help eliminate the fees for them, that those surprise fees or charges, and so it enabled them to plan their costs of their business a lot more consistently, which I think they found a lot of satisfaction in. And then lastly, I think just the general driver productivity that they were able to pick up through improved processes is a third component that they've been really happy with. So Market Express, great partner of ours. They have just over 300 units based out of Illinois, and there's a whole kind of video with them on our website. Feel free to go out there and watch it.
Yeah, go check that out.
Yeah, and
I love that.
Look forward to bringing similar value to other folks.
I love that. Lots of benefit, and I appreciate you for sharing that story, because it's these stories that really people can actually visualize and see what it's like to work with a partner like you, what that means for them, and let them start sort of feeling that reliability, that trust, because you've been able to deliver on that for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So let's zoom out a little bit, because at the beginning of the episode, I sort of talked about how safety is important, not only for the drivers and not only for your customers, but really for the industry as a whole, but also everybody who's out on the road.
Yeah.
So what is the benefits of all of this from a business level? Like, what's the impact of keeping everybody moving? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the safety side of it, I'll say first, is paramount and kind of our number one priority, right? And when we think about safety, you have the safety of the driver, you have the safety of the repair mechanic, and then you have the safety of the general public, all of which we have extremely high regard for.
Yeah. It's
and so, I think that's also a good reason why you want to partner with someone that is, has a good reputation, trustworthy, all those things.
And thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right?
And so that is absolutely number one priority, is making sure we do all this stuff safely. And then number two, if you zoom out, as you mentioned, from an industry standpoint, we saw what supply chain disruption looked like a few years ago, just generally in the havoc that it can have on the industry.
And the ongoing disruption.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be through disruption, but
I'm with you.
that's just my take.
Yeah, and so we actually think mechanical repair capacity has the potential to create those type of challenges longer term.
Right.
You just don't see as much mechanical capacity, and so if you zoom out and think broader supply chain, we want to help try and bring a solution to the industry when it comes to the lack of mechanical capacity. And so
Yes, you do.
we
need
think
more
that
people like that.
there's a lot of potential to help folks, not only today, but over the long term, next 10, 20 years as well.
Awesome, because you also need a partner that's thinking long term, like you said, too, right?
Yeah.
10, 20 years, what does that look like? What are we going to need? What's the roads going to look like? What are the vehicles going to look like? What are the chassis going to look like? And you've got a lot of insider information, which makes you a good partner.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Awesome.
It's great and a lot of fun being able to partner with all sorts of different industries and customers.
Cool. So, final question. I can't believe we're at the end here because I've had lots of fun. Where can people do business with you? How can they work with you? How do they get started? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, the easiest thing would be just go to our website, RapidLinkRepairs.com. You can also, if you better just want to email someone, you can email us at sales@RapidLinkRepairs.com. Happy to do that as well, but appreciate you having me on and talking. It's been great catching up with you.
Yeah, awesome. So did you have a guess at today's big question? So let's get to that. At the top of the show, I asked you, the market for container chassis in the US is growing. So what was it valued in at 2024? I think I need a drum roll on this one. It was $1.65 billion. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
I didn't know that either.
I was
but
hoping
that's
you weren't
going
to ask me to guess.
No, I wasn't going to ask you to guess. This is definitely for the audience, and I did have the answer prepared. But I do want to know if you're surprised, because that's a pretty big number.
No, it's huge. I
Right?
did not foresee that being the answer.
Well, anyways, Rob, I really appreciate you for joining me here on site at IANA Expo for an episode of Let's Talk Supply Chain and giving us all the tea on RapidLink Repairs. Thank you so much, Rob.
Appreciate it.